Wow, Vilnius is really non-stop in modernizing its infrastructure. I mean, some of it takes really long to complete, and some may even never become a reality, but other projects have been wrapped up really quickly. The Vilnius Airport Departures Terminal is a good example of this, and the airport work continues, with a plan to build a new arrivals terminal launched recently. Yep, it was in late November that the manager of Vilnius Airport, the organization known as Lietuvos oro uostai, or LTOU, announced an open international architectural competition to choose the design for a new arrivals terminal. As noted on the official website, the winning concept will shape the new terminal and its surrounding area, and it's set for completion by the end of 2028, which, all things considered, isn't that far from now. So in this video, let's look at what LTOU is looking for in a new arrivals terminal and all the finer details of the architectural competition right after the introduction. If you're looking for a tech job in Vilnius, check out today's sponsor, Sigli. There's more info at the end of this video. So Arnas Dumanas, head of the development department of Lithuanian airports, had this to say about the new project. We are already in a period of major change, but in parallel, we want to make every future infrastructure change at the capital's air gateway a detailed and professional analysis of the current situation and options. It is for these reasons that we believe that an international architectural competition of ideas for a new arrival terminal and its environment is the best way to understand what is available to choose from and what to have in the future. The competition is organized in collaboration with the Lithuanian Union of Architects, and there's a team of 7 people listed as being members of the jury who will review the design submissions. But why does Vilnius need a new arrivals terminal? Isn't this old Soviet-era building enough? Nope, actually not. LTOU says that it wants to adapt the existing infrastructure to the rapidly growing passenger flows, and at the same time, it wants to create a more efficient and comfortable environment for passengers. Additionally, the new terminal will be integrated with the future Rail Baltica underground link station, which in itself is super exciting. Architect Gintaras Balčytis, chairman of the Lithuanian Architects Association, says, "We're pleased that an international architectural competition was chosen to transform Vilnius Airport. This not only provides a professional opportunity to select the best solution from a wide spectrum of architectural ideas and find the best functional and visual architectural concept for Vilnius Airport, but also to present it comprehensively to both local and international communities. Architects are invited to prepare and submit their designs by mid-February 2025. When I think about this type of process, I believe design competitions are the way to go. I mean, you could find an architectural firm and work with them to try and design something, or you could invite architects from around the world to generate a much wider diversity of designs. I found this blurb on the website procore.com, which pretty much sums up what I was thinking anyways. Customers often get a wide variety of design options, often featuring innovative touches, and since most contests don't pay participants, except for prize money, and some contests even skip that, they provide the opportunity to widen the host's option pool without expanding their costs. That same website does mention some downsides, one being that architecture competitions present intellectual property issues for the architects, since they could be giving away their architectural property for free or exposing their ideas to the world with zero compensation. Nonetheless, in early 2025, the special jury will evaluate the tender entries against qualitative criteria. Now, if you dig beyond the easy-to-find press releases drafted for the media, you'll find really detailed documents. Here's what I discovered. For the design competition, there are 4 criteria. Each are differently weighted, with everything totaling 100 points. First, there's quality of the architectural idea with a weighting of 35 points. Second is functionality and rationality, worth 30 points. Third is user experience, which is worth 20 points. And fourth is the cost of services, which is assigned 15 points. The authors of the best projects, which one has to assume are the ones that have the highest scores out of 100, will be awarded cash prizes. The total prize fund will be shared by the authors of the 5 best proposals. The total prize money available is 120,000 euros. And then the winner of the architectural competition will be invited to enter open negotiations for the signing of a contract for the preparation of the working design of the terminal and its accesses. The service contract between LTOU and the Lithuanian Architects Association is valued at 132,000 euros, excluding VAT. My assumption before looking at any detailed documentation was that the design has to incorporate the old Soviet-era building, or at least work around it. And I was more or less correct, in that it will remain untouched. Here's what the main document from LTOU, has to say about it. Today's facade of the old arrivals terminal of Vilnius Airport is a controversial and much debated object with no consensus on its cultural value. It is characteristic Stalinist construction during the Soviet occupation and the repeated use of the design. At the same time, the Department of Cultural Heritage sees many valuable qualities in the architecture of the building and in the sculptures of Soviet realism, such as the pilot, the aviamechanic, the parachutists, the pioneers with avia models, and others. These elements are included in the Register of Cultural Values. On the other hand, there is a view that the sculptures and architecture of Soviet realism no longer correspond to contemporary values and functional requirements. Critics and the LTOU are convinced that the preservation of these objects not only hinders the efficient use of the airport's infrastructure, but also raises moral questions about the preservation of the symbols of the Soviet period. In the current geopolitical situation, especially after Russia's war against Ukraine, an increasing number of members of the public and artists are advocating for the removal and restructuring of the Soviet heritage to avoid associations with the occupation period. This debate has often been fought over the need to preserve historical heritage, but today the question is increasingly being asked whether such objects are really worth preserving or whether they are not just symbols of past suffering and oppression. This presents a new challenge and calls for thorough debate and a clear stance on the future of this building and its elements. It should be noted that the Stalinist architecture of the building, currently used for airport functions, is not adequate and is not planned for further airport use after the construction of the arrivals and departures terminals. So there you have it, confirmation that this old Soviet-era building will remain in place, but it was also interesting to learn that it won't be used as part of the airport after the new facilities are built. The LTOU document adds that the building is in good condition and partly compliant with current legislation. However, the premises are worn and in need of renovation, but due to recent airport restrictions, it is not compliant and not suitable for its main function, airport operations. Furthermore, it does not meet today's requirements for energy-efficient buildings. An airport spokesperson who was advocating for the demolition of the building said this in 2022. The building is insanely expensive. We have spent over €1 million on the roof alone. We also have to invest in inefficient heating and ventilation systems and other infrastructure. So yeah, I'm sure LTOU will be happy to shut the place down once the new buildings are functioning. I guess if this structure is something you appreciate about Vilnius Airport, well, enjoy it while it lasts. Now the document I'm referencing is big, about 93 pages, so I won't go through all of it, but I will show you this page, which shows all of the area that will be available for architects to play around with. I found some other interesting details, such as for reasons of visibility for the air navigation tower staff and flight safety, structures on the airport site must not exceed 45 meters in height. Another section of the document has this extensive multi-page chart outlining every possible airport space that should be considered. From cafes to restaurants to shopping, the chart shows approximately how many of each facility and how big they should be. For example, there should be space for one duty-free arrival shop, which should take up about 100 square meters. The customs or border control area should accommodate 6 workplaces and take up about 90 square meters. I know it's not like a secret document, but I don't think it's really meant to be shown to the public. But wow, it gives me a whole new appreciation for everything that needs to be considered when designing an airport. And it makes sense, and I'm quite grateful that there are documents like this for building planners to consider. I think many of us have traveled through badly designed airports, and so we can appreciate a good airport when we see it. But let's wait a few years and see how this one turns out. Anyways, as I said at the beginning, change seems to be constantly happening in Vilnius. Who knows when the National Stadium and new Central Station area will be complete, and hopefully we'll see the National Concert Hall in 4 or 6 years' time. Now, at the time I'm making this video, the new departures terminal is almost ready and open, and that was done in like 2 years, which I think is an impressive speed. And the speed of the construction of the new artery building was also quite impressive for me. In the short term, I'm really excited to see what architects come up with in their design proposals. I'll be sure to make a video about that once the competition closes. So what would you like to see in a new Vilnius arrivals terminal? What are some of your favorite airports that you think should influence the design of this project? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment. And this video is sponsored by Sigli. Sigli is a digital development services company with offices around Europe, including Vilnius. If you have IT or marketing skills, Sigli wants to talk to you. They're hiring talented individuals for jobs in sales and project management. And if you know another European language, even better. Check out sigly.com to learn more. Thanks to Sigly, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.